Hi guys, and welcome to Face Off. So, once again, we are without Vin and Rob. 1 week, about as long as the Bobcats' winning streak. But let's get right down to it. So, March Madness, we went from 64 to the Final Four. Who do you guys have winning the Final Four? Start with Kevin.
I think it's probably consensus with all of us that we're taking Louisville in this. Pretty easy to imagine. They're the only number one seed I had imagining going this far. Frankly, I didn't really believe in Indiana. I didn't really believe in Gonzaga. I actually had Duke and not Duke. I'm sorry. I actually had Miami and Ohio State in the finals. That got jumped on pretty quick. But really, if you look at the team, if you look at the tempo they play, the defense they can play, I really don't think Wichita State can pull off the upset. I think Michigan makes it to the finals against them, but they're very conditional with their shooting. I think Louisville's been the most consistent team all year, and they're going to win.
Right. I got to agree with you on this one. Part of me wants to see Wichita pull off an upset because it's nice to see a mid-major team in the Final Four again. Mm-hmm. But there's nobody better than Louisville here. I mean, I don't really think it matters who they play. I think they're going to beat Wichita, and I think they can easily beat Syracuse or Michigan. Not to mention now, they're going to play for Kevin Ware. I mean, you could say it's being over-exaggerated by now. Mm-hmm. They're going to want to win for him, especially if he's there at the Final Four. Pitino, being the coach he is, there's no pressure on this team. They know how to win. Pitino knows how to prepare your team in the Final Four. I'd be honestly completely shocked if Louisville doesn't end up winning this whole thing.
Yeah, I have to agree. Besides Wichita State really shocking everyone, that's my
shockers. Yeah.
That's my bad. That is my bad pun for the day. But I can't really see anyone else in the Final Four beating Louisville.
I don't think so.
Michigan. I pretty much think Michigan got in on a fluke. And for Syracuse, they beat a good Indiana team, but Indiana really wasn't playing to its potential in the tournament. So Louisville, I think it's going to be a cakewalk for Louisville.
I have to agree with you. I mean, the only highest seed left is a 4 seed. It's Michigan and Syracuse are both 4 seeds, correct? So I had Miami versus Louisville in the final. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, they went downhill pretty quick. But again, all the 1 seeds are out. It's really just. It's Louisville's to win. They beat themselves here. Honestly.
It's like what you said, Ryan, though, is that Rick Pitino is the most experienced coach out there right now. I don't know what you guys were thinking, but I assumed whoever won Duke Louisville was going to win it all just based on experience.
Yeah, most likely.
Well, we're going to move along real quick. The Raiders have recently made a trade to acquire the highest paid backup last year, Matt Flynn.
Ooh.
Ryan, we're going to start with you. Can Matt Flynn be a franchise quarterback?
This kind of drives me nuts a little bit. I mean, can he? Yeah, we don't know. Did anyone expect Tom Brady to come out of the draft and win 3 Super Bowls? You never know. But my problem with this is the Raiders, signed him to, I believe, $12 million contract, correct?
Yeah.
Somewhere in that range. I was upset with the fact that the Cowboys signed Tony Romo to a $108 million deal because of the fact he's done nothing really relevant in his career. He's a good quarterback, but he never gets the job done. Matt Flynn is a guy who's literally done nothing in his career. He's played maybe 1 game with the Packers, right?
Played 1 game.
1 game. He had a great game. But come on.
Game 17 against the Detroit Lions. Puts up 56 points, earns the contract the next day.
And then he plays that 1 game with Green Bay, goes to Seattle, gets his job taken away by a rookie who deserved it.
It was earned.
But
it was earned.
What has Matt Flynn done to deserve $12 million? How do you give that guy $12 million when, unlike Romo doing nothing relevant, he's literally done nothing with his NFL career? Nothing.
Now, I can't be mad that the Cowboys did re-sign Tony Romo because it's always nice having to go against really bad quarterbacks.
I guess as an Eagles fan, it's the one little bit of hope we have.
Yeah, but Matt Flynn is definitely not going to be a franchise quarterback because now you've just basically killed your career by going to the Raiders. 1 game doesn't really tell me much because you put up 56 points on the Detroit Lions, and with that Green Bay offense that was really stacked at the time, I actually think he might end up having a really bad year and might not be able to do anything whatsoever. But
I think it's easier to decide just based off of the role players he has around him. He has Darius Hayward-Bay as his best receiver.
Actually,
Hayward-Bay is
gone.
I don't know what do they even have anymore.
They
They
binged for about 5 years on all those speedy receivers, and none of them developed. Exactly, they got the track stars, and Derek McFadden, he's unhealthy. They've always had talented tight ends, but that's really it. What is he working with that's going to make him so valuable to this team that they dump Carson Palmer?
I really don't think he has much with him. I mean, we saw Matt Flynn play that 1 game. He has the potential, I suppose you can say, but to go ahead, cut Carson Palmer, even though I'm not a big Palmer guy, to take a guy who's played 1 game in his career and give him $12 million, it doesn't make sense to me. To be a franchise quarterback,
it's a stretch.
It's a risk.
It's pretty much a stretch. But let's get and dive into the NBA a little bit. Talking about the New York Knickerbockers.
Woo!
They finally won.
8 in a row so far.
Yeah, they've. Question is, how deep of a playoff run can the Knicks make this year? We'll start with. Actually, I guess I'll start this one off. The Knicks, I think, could be out in the first round, depending on who they play. Actually, I think if they play either Chicago or Boston, they're really out. I really don't think, Stoudemire is pretty much out for the season at this point. And, Carmelo can't do it all. And I can't really see the Knicks, even if they did get past the first round, the Heat pretty much have winning the East. I think if they went in a series with Brooklyn, they would lose. I can't really see them going, a good 6-game series against some of the other better teams out there.
You got to also remember that the Knicks haven't won a playoff series in this century. I actually think that they do have a chance. As a avid Knicks fan, I actually do think they have a chance to pull out first-round win. They've been streaking of late, and it's not just a streak. They have Ray Felton, who's finally back. He's finally healthy in that roster. Jason Kidd has been helping out all year. J.R. Smith is now the clear favorite for Sixth Man of the Year. He's been putting up 30-point games when they need him to. Melo obviously has been doing his thing, but it's so much more important with the role players. You have Iman Shumpert, who hasn't even been talked about this year aside from injuries and contract talk. He's a very valuable asset on the defensive side of the ball. He can shut down any guard or forward you have out there when he needs to. You have, Kenya Martin, who's a recent signing for them. He's actually looking very good. So it's not a matter of replacing Amari. It's not a matter of, focusing on Melo. It's a matter of the whole team functioning as a whole. And I'm not afraid of teams like Chicago when it comes to matters like this. I think the Celtics will give them a scare, as they always do. They always manage a way to disappoint my season. But I really do think that when push comes to shove, this might be the year for the Knicks to actually win the first round and then lose to the Heat.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with you on this one. I don't think losing Amari is going to be huge for them. We know that at the beginning of the season, they were able to win pretty well without him. I think if they take Boston on in the first round, I think they're going to go down, quite honestly. I think Boston, just the veteran team they are, they could be a 7 seed, and yet they can still be a threat, honestly. Yeah.
They're so experienced.
Chicago, I think they can beat. At the best, I think they go second round and maybe lose to a team like Indiana, possibly. And even if they were to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, I don't see them knocking off Miami. I don't see anybody beating Miami this year. No one's touching them. But I think they can get out of the first round this year for the first time in a while. I think, again, if they can take a team on like Chicago, I think they can get it done. But I don't see them making a deep playoff push this year whatsoever. It's Miami's to win easily.
All right. Well, with the East playoffs pretty much set in stone, looking to the West now, still got a pretty good race for those last couple of playoff spots. Who do you guys have is some of your last teams in the West? Start off with Ryan.
I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Lakers here. It comes down probably to Utah, Dallas, and L.A. I was looking at the stats earlier, and Dallas does have the easier schedule the rest of the way. However, what was I going to say? Points per game. The Lakers average more points that they score rather than give up, whereas the Utah Jazz and Mavericks both give up more points than they score. And not to mention, you got Kobe Bryant on your team. That's one of the greatest clutch players of all time. I can't see him leading this team and not getting them into the playoffs. I think they're going to grab the 8 seed here. I think Utah and Dallas both miss out. It's just for the fact that you have Kobe Bryant. You always have to have faith in your team. Unfortunately, they're going to get in and they get probably swept by San Antonio in the first round or Oklahoma City, whoever they play. But I think the Lakers grab the 8 spot here.
I like Dallas. I like their experience. I like the fact that they have much more endured playing time together, more so than the Lakers. Going into this stretch, they have the easier schedule, like you said. They're 6-4 in the last 10 games right now. I know the Lakers have been streaky. Utah's been streaky. They're on a winning streak right now, but that just shows that they've had to get on the winning streak to get to this point. But going into it, you have teams like Memphis, you have teams like Denver that Lakers and Utah have to go through to get in, and these are teams that are not resting. These aren't the guys like they're not going to be sitting their star players. They're going to have them out there. They want to get a higher seed. They're looking for the 3, 4, 5 seeds. They want that home court advantage to start it. So I think Dallas slips in, and that makes for a fun matchup in the first seed with Spurs and Dallas, reigniting it from like 20 years ago when this started. So
I'm actually going to agree with the Lakers as well, or else I think ESPN would pretty much go berserk without the Lakers in the playoffs. But I have to go with the Lakers. Dallas, I think, is just pretty much too much in the hole at this point to really make it. And like he was saying, points per game, the Lakers are pretty much better. And I think with a tough schedule, Utah is not going to be able to beat, teams like Memphis and whatnot to hold in. Mm-hmm. I know they are on a streak right now, but I pretty much have them out at this point. And the Lakers in, but really whoever gets that 8 seed, I pretty much see out against.
They're going to get blown out no matter who they play, San Antonio or Oklahoma City.
Yeah, either way.
Scheduling-wise,
too good.
They're going. I think the hardest teams they play, I believe you said, is Denver and Memphis for the Lakers. They could end up losing those games, but I could see them taking at least one from Denver. They could possibly take on Memphis.
Can I throw in what's going to be the most fun first round playoff series? It's going to be Thunder Rockets. James Harden.
That's very
interesting,
against the
actually.
Thunder.
Yeah.
That's going to be
Maybe
pretty
the
fun.
2 and
The
7 seeds?
Yes,
possibly?
2 and 7 seeds, or even 3 and 6 seeds, because right now Denver's battling for that 2 spot, and Rockets are.
I think
hovering
Houston
around.
give them a run there in that
That-
series.
I think
Harden
that's
leading
fun.
that team.
It's going to be a
Yeah.
high-scoring series.
That'd be very interesting.
That would
Should be
really
a very
fun.
interesting series indeed. But we are going to step off to a break. When we come back, we have some baseball talk and some hockey talk. We'll be right back.
And the Mets.